Finally, we have something Warhammer, because this is super important and interesting, and it has two parallels to it. One is freaking show it itself and what it could mean in general for the mainstream, Warhammer going on in the mainstream. And the second one is how this is going to compare with, Star Wars, because people are going to compare it to Star Wars no matter how different Warhammer is. And most people don't know what Warhammer is still. And they're up for an amazing treat. And also, of course, we have this concern of OG Warhammer fans, and I'm relatively new, going on 6 or my 7 year now in Warhammer, but in comparison to people that were there from the very beginning, I wasn't born, so I couldn't be there from the very beginning. But I caught up super, super fast when I started, and this became like my new passion. But a lot of people will not be able to experience Warhammer 40k in any other way than for Warhammer to go mainstream. And we have the biggest fan, which is Henry Cavill, working towards the goal of presenting Warhammer to the world and make it faithful to the original. So what makes Warhammer unique is what it is, what it has in terms of the lore, the story, the characters, how everything happens in Warhammer. And OG fans are worried that all of that will be diminished so it can cater to the taste of modern audiences. But when we have Henry Cavill leading this whole thing, he's like the Kevin Feige right now of Warhammer 40k, we do have a lot of hope that this will not happen, because he understands that what made Warhammer popular in the first place, although this is very niche, this very niche thing is the exact unique factor that Warhammer needs to stand out from the crowd and actually make a huge splash, because we are all sick of the same things. We are all sick of everything being sanitized for the modern audience, make it woke or make it just stupid and lame like Star Wars became. Even if you remove the woke stuff in Star Wars and the replacing male character with female character, whatever, like it happened, switching focus from the original family to Rey, who's actually part of the original family now, but the point is they did switch focus and made her a Mary Sue and whatever. All of that just made everything lame and gay. And Warhammer is not lame and gay. It is the total opposite. It is true grimdark and greedy, and it's so unique in terms of how it looks. And even though it takes inspiration from several different things, like what was that?
Starship
Troopers, Dune, and other things, it has just such a different feel to it, and the story is so different. Of course, it has magical elements like and God Emperor themes like Dune, but the Emperor is so different. Like the soldiers inside, we have regular soldiers, we have bigger, better, amazing Astarte super soldiers, we have Sons of the Emperor, the Primarchs. Everything is so damn freaking interesting and big, and we have badass characters that are smaller and people gravitate towards them, like commissars that are part from the 40k, and it's just so vast. And we have the 30k and we have the 40k, which this means thousands of years. So 40k, it means 40,000, and 30k means 30,000. And this is, in the 30k is where everything key happened to the whole universe. And it became this huge downfall for the Emperor, for the Primarchs, and for the whole Imperium of Man. And this is just so compelling, and it's so amazing. So if we take that, if Henry Cavill decides to go in that direction to tell the story, to lay the grounds for everything else that you can then explore in Warhammer, like the other factions, the alien factions, the Xenos, like the Orcs, the Eldari, the Necrons, whoever is really the Tyranids, you have everything then needed if you lay the grounds for people to understand 40k. So if we believe in Henry Cavill, and I do put my faith in him because he's a based guy who is very intelligent, and he has been in the movie universe, the movie scene since he was like 20-something. Yeah. And he loves what he does. And what he did with The Witcher at the beginning, how he tried to teach the whole team what they should do. When they listened to him, it was great. And when they didn't, they failed the whole show. We know that he is putting his actions where his mouth is, because he quit The Witcher, and he couldn't stand anymore for show that does things like this, that you tarnish the Witcher's name and the whole show and the whole story. So he has integrity, that's what I mean. And that is why I personally believe in Henry Cavill, that he can do something. So we have just a bit of rumors now, like you see here, heating up. So let's see what that is about. I'm going to put this to be read.
More Henry Cavill 40k rumors are here. Sort fact from fiction with what's actually confirmed, with tips on how to spot the fake news before it spreads. If you've been anywhere near Warhammer 40k Facebook pages, you've probably seen all sorts of rumors saying things like Henry Cavill was hunched over scripts at 4 in the morning, correcting 300 lines of lore for the Amazon series, while everyone else packed up and went home. The problem is that all of these are just rumors until Games Workshop, Amazon, or even Cavill officially says anything. Literally everything you see on the internet, and even in this post, should be taken with a grain of salt, because it's just not confirmed. That being said, here are the latest rumors and gossip for the Henry Cavill Warhammer project, why these types of posts keep spreading, and how to spot the next confirmed Warhammer 40k TV show rumor before it wastes your time. Why the Henry Cavill Warhammer rumor machine never sleeps. Cavill is a giant favorite among 40k players. He's publicly into the hobby, he talks like an actual fan, and he has enough clout to make people think, okay, we're going to watch anything he makes for Warhammer. That makes his name pure gold for engagement farmers. So when the Amazon Warhammer 40k series gets even a whisper of attention, Facebook content creators and suspicious websites start churning out breaking news posts for one reason: clicks. Not because they have sources or they even understand 40k lore. It's because Cavill plus Warhammer equals traffic. New Warhammer 40k Amazon show rumors point to DNEG, Eisenhorn, and more. This post was updated on July 21st, 2026 by Rob Bear with the latest Henry Cavill Warhammer rumors. The latest Warhammer 40k Amazon show rumors suggest the project may be moving forward behind the scenes, even if Games Workshop and Amazon still aren't saying much publicly. The biggest claim is that major visual effects studio DNEG could now be involved. That's the crew with credits on projects like Dune, Marvel movies, and Godzilla. So if the rumor is accurate, Amazon may be planning something with a much bigger visual scale than a few people standing around in Inquisitor coats. Nobody seems to agree on what story the show will actually tell, though. One rumor points toward the Scouring, which would mean Primarchs, Space Marines, and a whole lot of lore to explain before casual viewers know why everyone is yelling about Rogel Dorn. Overall, Eisenhorn still feels like the cleaner option overall, since an Inquisitor can move through nearly every layer of the Imperium while introducing the setting without dropping viewers straight into the deepest end of 40k history.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it here just to comment on that. So the Eisenhorn show, and he's a very famous Inquisitor in the lore, the Eisenhorn show was rumored even before the pandemic, even before this was a thing, even before Henry Cavill was actually involved in all of this. And it was cancelled because pandemic. Okay. And obviously not a clear vision of what they should do. Now, I'm personally not for it. And I'll tell you why. Exactly because this here does not give you any idea of 40k. It drops you in today, in the today's time, current timeline of 40k and not 30k. You'll just be dropped in the middle of the universe, not knowing who is who and why they're doing what they're doing. Who are the Inquisitors? What is their role? What is this Imperium we're talking about? We already have 40,000 years of human history that will not be explained or explained a little bit. If I'm now a person who doesn't know anything about 40k, if I'm dropped in the middle of the universe like that, with so much history already left behind, and so much more amazing than what's happening right now in 40k. Like right now, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a lot better to go back and establish the lore and the compelling, like what makes it so compelling. And this is the Imperium of Man. Everything comes from, everything is so interesting because of what happened with the Imperium of Man and the Emperor and the Primarchs. And then you have, of course, the little soldiers, in comparison, the normal soldiers and their story and how human strength of spirit is fighting for the Emperor and against the Xenos. And why are those things even important? We will have like zero context or not enough context to explain 40,000 years of human freaking history.
Yeah, not everybody is going to be, okay, that's interesting. I want to see the other things that happen. So I'll go now and watch videos about lore or read books and things like that. Not everybody is going to do that, far and few between people will do that. So most of the people we want to get to know the universe from that TV show, and that's what the idea should be.
Yeah, so I don't get how is Eisenhorn a cleaner option?
Yeah.
Like, who the hell?
Because he can move to different places, but I mean, what?
Who cares about?
Who cares about
yeah,
that?
he can. It's great. I mean, I know that a lot of people love Eisenhorn, but there are other people like Commissar Yarek that are super compelling with their story about the orcs. There are different commissars that like are hilarious, that have great story. They're badasses. There's so many things in Warhammer that you can depict. The point is, how do you start? This is not the books and the novels that are just spread across absolutely every part of the 40k. You gotta have a basis. You gotta have a basis.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, some people did get through, into 40k through the orcs or something else. But that's kind of like, you're looking at this from a very niche perspective, and you have to be looking at this as an established universe that people actually understand and comprehend what it is even about. And you can't just make everything. I mean, start everything with the smaller stories or the little Xenos factions. You're gonna miss like the whole picture.
The whole thing,
Like, I'm only giving you this much of the puzzle, and you don't see anything else. Like, for example, let's say this is a freaking voucher that we got for something. So this is a picture of a wine. So if you only get like this part of the picture, you're gonna see like what a finger. I don't know if you even see this, but this is a hand. So this is like, you're gonna get like this, like the hand, let's say, and you're not gonna see that that's a hand that holds this whatever that is, a glass, and here's a glass here and a glass here and whatever. Just gonna
and
see.
You still know nothing.
Yeah, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I just can't understand the Eisenhower argument. It's so dumb. Nobody is looking at this from a studio and from a fan
exactly.
perspective.
This is again not clearing the noise. This is again, you go to the one extreme, like, well, for example, I want to see that because that's my favorite character, I think, but look really objectively at the studio and even Henry's perspective, because he's moving the whole thing. It should be something that will capture everyone's attention, and not just the already hardcore fans. You are already a fan, so now the idea is to spread the universe, to the other people,
to open it up,
yeah.
And to make people understand what it is. And we can only win if this is done correctly. That's the point. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Cavill is also rumored to remain heavily involved as an executive producer, although his other projects could be one reason the timeline continues to crawl. None of this has been confirmed, including Neg's involvement, the setting, or the source material. But the continued mentions suggest the project hasn't simply vanished into the warp like some Games Workshop projects.
Okay, so this is what we think about this, basically. This hopefully is still in progress, and as far as I remember, because I do covered a lot of the updates about this, Henry Cavill did say that he's gonna speak when there's actually something tangible to talk about. But so far, if there isn't something like set in stone that he can really announce, he will not. He will not bother, because this can just jinx it, and it's gonna set some weird expectations that maybe are not gonna correspond with reality later on. So better to just be like completely set in stone and announced in a moment when we all could pay attention.
I mean, again, we should stay hopeful for that, because I do know that Amazon has a 50-50 track record on those things. Like, for example, the Amazing Invincible show. Then again, we have Rings of Power.
Which is horrible, but again, it matters who is behind the project.
It. Yeah, don't forget, for example, Robert Kirkman, as much as a douchebag he's staying behind Invincible, so he's moving the things. That's his vision, how he made a comic book. If there are some changes made, they kind of work for the format that it's a TV show, except for some things, but still. So here Henry's moving everything, and that's why we should stay hopeful, and of course not be in any of the two directions, like oh, this is Hollow because it should stay only for the fans. I don't want it to go mainstream. If it goes mainstream, it will ruin everything and blah, 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 ruin my hobby. Will you? So we should never have new fans of things by that logic, of course.
I mean, it's normal for people to have these concerns,
Yeah.
but again, the person who is doing this is Henry Cavill. So that's why I don't really have that concern
Exactly. Yeah.
at all.
Exactly. Unlike, for example, when you have superhero movies made by people who don't know their lore and things like that, and they just mess things up. Here, he knows everything. He's the
Also, they did agree
He
on
knows
everything
everything, yeah.
beforehand, as far as
Mhm.
we know. When he announced that this is actually happening, because people are, yeah, I wanna make sure that you remember that, guys. Just before all the shows were officially confirmed by Henry Cavill on Instagram and on Facebook, Archcast and other people were claiming that this was never gonna happen. It's gonna fail. It's gonna burn. It's already burning. Whatever.
They guarantee it.
Yeah, I guarantee you, like Endymion as well.
Guarantee.
They all run with this false narrative that they created all by themselves without any basis for that. We had no information that this is going down. We just had a lot of information that it's being worked on, but not that it's going down.
Yeah.
And then Mr. H Reviews, who is super boring to me, but he has some insiders for some things. And he said, I do have insiders that work close with the whole thing, the whole project, and they did say that this thing is greenlit, it has been worked on, and it's still progressing. That's what he said. And he said, hey, Arch, what are you talking about? Where did you get this from? This is not true. He actually called him out.
Yeah.
I don't think that Arch ever replied to that, but that happened because I do watch several creators at the same time to make my own, my own notes and my own research. So I did say back then that Arch is talking nonsense and Damien's talking nonsense. They're just pushing things to make, like, their titles that do not correspond to reality and whatever. And that's exactly what happened. Fast forward until now, when Henry Cavill actually announced that this is happening, it was also, I think, somewhere on the lines, there was something about the fact that they had to agree on everything.
Yeah, otherwise,
they had to sign particular things. For example, do this, do that, but don't change this or that, something like that.
Yeah.
And that GW is remaining the main, basically the source of what should happen, and the lore should be kept, the integrity of the lore, all those things. Now, I know that what people are gonna say. People are going to say, but Empress, there's already woke, stupid shit in 40k, including the female custodies and including other things, that they did change. And yeah, of course, they may or may not at all be included in this. We may never actually see custodies here.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably will at some point, depending on what Henrika wants to do, because custodies are his favorite warrior faction, and just as much as they are mine favorite faction. So whatever he does, maybe we're gonna see that, but mostly custodians have been guys for the longest time. I mean, for the whole time, not the longest time, the whole time in the lore. All of a sudden, there are also females amongst them since yesterday. So that may be or may not be included there. But for the most part, the whole Warhammer lore and how things are done is still the same. It's still focused on the guys, and it's still focused on the Imperium and the war, and that's the bottom line, to survive in this whole setting. And we do have amazing female characters, which, some of you want me to talk about, that are super badass, they earn their position, and they're worth talking about, sure. And that's not the woke part, that is just what Warhammer is.
Just what it is, yeah.
There's a lot more not woke things in Warhammer, like a lot more, like almost everything, than it is woke. So I think that whatever Henry puts on screen is going to be just true to more like the original Warhammer rather than the new additions. And hopefully that's the case.
Absolutely, hopefully. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but let's know what you think, of course, in the comments about this whole topic. The next article is just about how this could become like the new Star Wars or something. You're not gonna get into that, but
I think it can be even better than Star Wars, but
I mean, technically, this is. I mean, of course, it's a matter of taste in whatever way, in whatever way you want to look at it. This could be totally better than Star Wars, after all, because, it's just so much more grand, and it does have a lot of compelling characters. There's no really love in 40k. There's just little stories here and there. It's not about that. It's just about survival and the variety of like the human factions and the Xenos factions, like how different and interesting they are and what makes them interesting and how they interact and the threat of the universe and existential things and the magic of and the gods and whatever. I do this because the gods are really high level demons. They are written as such, but they're presented as gods. That's another topic. Talk with Dan Ablett if you don't believe me. Yeah, this could be like one of the most amazing things ever put on screen if it's done right. And again, when we're talking about Amazon, they do allow the creative freedom of whoever is at the helm, and the people that got behind Wheel of Time and the people that got behind Rings of Power are corrupted people.
Absolutely.
They're corrupted ideologically. They don't actually respect the source material, and they are egotistical maniacs who want to do their own thing with the original source material, and that's that. We're dealing with such people, but here we don't see that with Henry. And again, when people are saying, why do you think that Henry's going to do something? Well, because he already proven himself with The Witcher. That's why.
Absolutely, yes.
Because he already retracted from The Witcher and he stood his ground for the longest time. He tried to change things for the better, but they didn't listen, and he quit. He didn't actually prioritize his career, and he decided to take this L and to keep his integrity. And he's winning because of this, actually.
Exactly, yeah. He could have stayed and do whatever they tell him and just play the character and, collect his paycheck, but he didn't do it.
Yeah, because now, because of he quit The Witcher, he has the creative freedom to be the lead here.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Also for Highlander, he's doing a lot because he's also a fan of that, and he does know a lot of the lore for Highlander, so I think he'll do a great job in there. He's also working really well on that one. Yeah. It's not just he is really a fan of a lot of things, and he knows how to do the things. Yeah. Otherwise, he would never even taken a role if the project is something like that. And here, this is his dream. So it really could be more than Star Wars at one point. Now, of course, it's Star Wars is kind of more kid friendly, but this could be great introduction again.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's know what you think about this in the comments, guys.
Sacred might, their purpose burning crystal bright, to lift the throne world from its plight and guard humanity's light.